So that we now have an iPad in every single command vehicle.
LA firefighters have been using the technology up and down the state for the last few months. What used to take 3 or 4 hours to calculate and predict now takes about 2 or 3 minutes.
The results are surprisingly similar to the actual burn pattern of the fire.
In other words, the predictions of the WiFire app are accurate. So far, the app has helped fight 10 brush fires with pretty surefire accuracy, and it promises to save both lives and fire resources. I'm Anna Marcos for LA This Week.
The WiFire app program was launched with a grant from the National Science Foundation. While believing in someone can greatly impact their self-esteem and level of success. And thanks to one city department's belief in one of their own, a young man may be on his way to a bright and fulfilling future. Rasha Goel has more.
20-year-old Efren is a student at Cal State Northridge, pursuing his dreams of becoming an accountant. At the same time, he's working here at the city's Department of Cultural Affairs. He says he's grateful for the opportunity.
What I've enjoyed most about being at DCA is definitely the people and learning about all these cultural events that happen every week.
Efren's journey began at the age of 10 as a student at the Sun Valley Youth Center. He eventually became a volunteer worker there and then enrolled in the Mayor's Summer Youth Program. Today, he is a part-time employee at the Department of Cultural Affairs headquarters in downtown Los Angeles.
I wanted to work here at DCA headquarters because I thought it would bring a lot of experience since I am an accounting major.
Sun Valley Youth Center, where Efren was first exposed to the arts, is one of the 22 centers affiliated with the Department of Cultural Affairs, also known as DCA. The DCA was formed in 1925 and supports art and cultural activities in the city, ensuring public access to the arts for residents and visitors.
One of the flagships is our community arts program, where we have community arts centers sprinkled from San Pedro all the way to Canoga Park in the San Fernando Valley of youth art centers and adult art learning centers where people get to explore their own creative talents.
Alma Gibson, Director of Administrative Services, works directly with Efren and says he performs to the best of his abilities.
This kid, I mean, he came in and immediately started getting things out and, fairly with very little direction. I mean, he was quick to learn and he was eager to learn.
Hopes are Efren may return to the department after graduating from college, but for now, he's left a lasting impact on those that he's worked with and been an inspiration for those who perhaps may follow in his footsteps. In downtown Los Angeles, I'm Rasha Goel for LA This Week.
Efren says he would like to work as a full-time accountant for the city after he graduates. Well, turning now to the changing face of cartoons. Now, most of us grew up watching them, but this new generation of cartoons looks nothing like Looney Tunes or Tom and Jerry. Animation has leaped light years ahead in the last decade, and now Pixar, the maker of some of the most beloved animated movies, is giving kids of all ages a hands-on chance at the computer control panel. Anna Marcos visits the science behind Pixar exhibit.
The kids have absolutely no trouble finding Dory at the Science Behind Pixar exhibition. The new exhibit at the California Science Center has 40 interactive stations where kids get to play with the lighting in their favorite movies or change Marita's curly hair in the movie Brave and make it do weird stuff, or even design their own spaceship. Are you trying to create animated characters or something?
I like doing ships, spaceships and stuff. Can they go wider, longer, taller? My mostly favorite is cars.
Would you like to create your own car?
Yeah.
What kind of car would you create?
Anyone, I don't care, as long as it's a car.
Without knowing it, the kids are learning about physics, engineering, math, science, and art while having fun.
The problem on Brave was that the main character has this flowing curly hair. Now, how do you actually animate that hair? How does it actually move when the wind is blowing, as she's riding on horseback or anything else? This turns out to be basically a high school physics problem.
animation includes things more than just being an artist. It includes software engineers, so much technology, and things that we think we just see in the blink of an eye take hours on end to be able to create and make a film believable.
And I did learn something. There are 8 steps to creating an animated movie character. The first one is called modeling, which is creating a 3-dimensional character with real materials before creating it on the computer. So let's see what kind of a monster I can create. Ta-da!
You get to do the lighting of where Dory is, and it's kind of cool because they're giving kids opportunity of doing what they think.
Another thing you learn here is how far the technology has come in 20 or even 10 years.
If you look at a face like Dory, there's not a ton of detail in that face. And so having the subtlety of her grins and her twitches and her insecurity that you can capture in a very subtle, like very kind of limited amount of detail, that's all animation.
A ton of entertainment and a ton of learning and creating to be had here. And who knows, there just might be a future Pixar animator in the crowd. I'm Anna Marcos for LA This Week.
Among the Pixar characters featured at the exhibit include Buzz Lightyear of Toy Story, Dory from Finding Dory, and Mike and Sully from Monsters, Inc. Well, from advancements in animation to interactive apps and games on your phone. And now a new app, kind of like Pokemon Go, helps you learn things about the environment. Gil Reyes has more on this new app from the Discovery Cube in Lakeview Terrace.
Riding on the success of Pokemon is a new augmented reality mobile game for LA City Parks.
You get to learn new things about what happens and how to save water.
The game, called Agents of Water, teaches kids about the importance of conservation during this 5th year of drought. The game was developed by the group Discovery Agents, with support from the LA City Department of Recreation and Parks.
2 years ago, long before we had heard of Pokemon Go, we're willing to imagine, what if we could take best practices in gaming? What if we could look at what is cool and trending augmented reality games and use them to get kids moving and learning out of doors?
Kids can play Agents of Water at Discovery Cube Children's Museum and at Hanson Dam Recreation Center next door. Answering questions on their phones and tablets takes them on a GPS tour of the areas where they learn a lot.
To prevent pollution, you clean up your dog poo in the yard.
That is true. Picking up dog waste helps prevent pollutants from seeping into groundwater. By answering questions and touring the museum, kids learn there are even more ways to conserve.
By fixing household water leaks, reducing outside water needs, and washing only full loads of laundry or dishes.
So the idea is to get this in all of our parks so that kids want to go out into the parks. I mean, they do already, but I could say taking my own kids on a nature walk, we do that periodically, and sometimes they're a little reluctant about going. With this out there, I think they're going to be begging us to go.
It was all 3. You guys got the right ones.
And you can now play this fun interactive game, not just here at Discovery Cube Hanson Dam Recreation Center, but also South Los Angeles Wetlands Park, also Reseda Park. Just make sure you watch where you're going when you're playing. At Discovery Cube, I'm Gil Reyes for LA This Week.
To download this free game, go to the App Store or Google Play and search Discovery Agents. Well, over in Council District 9, senior citizens got a little extra TLC and a big party thrown in their honor. Anna Marcos takes us to the annual Senior Appreciation Luncheon.
A hootenanny hoedown at the LA Convention Center. Thousands of older Angelenos have come together here from senior centers all over Council District 9 to dance and sing.
The Lord is my shepherd.
And just have an all-around good time.
Just a real fun way to celebrate the day and to encourage and just give thank you to our senior citizens.
This is Councilmember Curran Price's 16th annual Senior Appreciation Luncheon. A talent show, comedy, and other entertainment are on the menu, along with a 3-course dinner. But a little politicking also pops up on the agenda as city leaders urge seniors to vote yes on Measure M. a proposal on the November ballot that would pay for more transportation projects.
The Crenshaw line coming through South Los Angeles, halfway done to LAX. And wouldn't it be nice to have a train to the airport?
Lots of agencies also on hand to help the seniors out. City leaders estimate the elderly population will double in the next 15 years, and they're ready to help these seniors lead the longest, healthiest lives possible. I'm Anna Marcos at LA This Week.
Mayor Garcetti also urged seniors to vote yes on Measure HHH, a plan to build more housing for people who are homeless. Well, City Attorney Mike Feuer cracks down on one hospital accused of illegally dumping a patient who was homeless. A new eatery in Hollywood helps transform the neighborhood. And if you love cats and coffee, a new cafe may have you purring with delight. All these stories in City Beat. A Hawaiian Gardens hospital will pay $450,000 to resolve allegations that its staff illegally dropped off a homeless patient on Skid Row in just her hospital garb, City Attorney Mike Feuer said. Feuer sued Gardens Regional Hospital and Medical Center last year, alleging that its staff failed to follow proper discharge protocols in dumping a patient who was homeless and mentally ill. The woman was found wandering around Skid Row wearing hospital paper tops and bottoms, according to the lawsuit. Feuer said patient dumping is an unconscionable practice and will not be tolerated. A modern-day roadside burger stand has opened its third location in California in the heart of Hollywood. Fans gathered at the corner of Hollywood and Argyle at the mixed-use development called Easttown for the grand opening of Shake Shack, the first to be opened in Los Angeles. Officials say mixed-use projects that offer a variety of amenities in one location are transforming the neighborhood by becoming more pedestrian-friendly. Area residents now have the ability to walk to restaurants, shops, and even the metro.
So this is really the new urban living in Los Angeles, right here in the heart of Hollywood.
Over on Melrose and Fairfax, another first for the city of LA. A new cat cafe that caters to cats and the humans who love them has opened. Crumbs and Whiskers, which has partnered with a nearby cafe, offers folks a chance to hang out with free-roaming felines while enjoying food or coffee. The cats come from a local shelter and are available for adoption.
Picture a coffee shop meets like petting zoo, but in your like chic, cool, animal-loving friend's apartment. And that's what this is.
With Day of the Dead taking place this week, a new exhibit opens honoring the dearly departed, and oftentimes with a lot of humor. Gil Reyes shows us from El Pueblo.
Death. We all have to face it one day, but instead of dreading, these artists are celebrating.
It is like a big party. You're celebrating your relatives and your loved ones like if they were here with you, standing with you today.
The exhibit called Sacred Memories is taking place at El Pueblo Historical Cultural Monument.
Every year we hold the Sacred Memories to kick off the Dia de los Muertos. It's a competitive application. So this year about 90 artists applied and put their artwork forward. About 25 were selected.
Artist Chuka Susan Chesney painted her late brother, who tragically took his own life after a lengthy bout with mental illness.
My mother was the one that found his body, and she was really, really sad. It was horrible. But I wanted to make that colorful painting to celebrate their relationship. My brother was really funny. For example, I'll tell you something funny about him. He tried to join the Hare Krishnas, and they didn't want him. I mean, he's like the only person you've ever heard of that they wouldn't want, because he was kind of difficult to be around. And I really miss him.
It's one of those shows that you either can be profoundly moved or just laugh, because you either laugh at death or you're scared of it. And for one thing, I'm not scared of it.
Many of the works remind us to appreciate the loved ones who are still with us, artists included.
Mostly people go to museums, they look at art from people who have passed away, but we're here, we're alive. Come and look at our stuff. At the
Biscaluz Gallery at El Pueblo. In downtown Los Angeles, I'm Gil Reyes for LA This Week.
The exhibit continues at El Pueblo until December 4th. A new art installation gives a unique perspective on the human form. Learn all about LA during the ultimate scavenger hunt, and a Canoga Park Festival celebrates Mexican traditions. All this in this week's Things to Do. This fall, The Broad will present Creature, a free general admission installation opening November 5th that will fill the museum's first-floor galleries with more than 50 works presenting approaches to figuration and the human body. From slick avatars and popular icons to images rooted in mythology and animal instincts, this installation will feature works by over 25 artists, including artworks that examine the human body and others that allude to a physical presence outside of the artwork itself. Check it out at The Broad from November 5th through March 19th. For more, visit thebroad.org. This is an outdoor and indoor trek that'll cross a small part of the city. Along the way, you'll learn and be exposed to LA art, architecture, culture, and history. You'll also have a boatload of fun. You will literally find long hidden treasure in either people, places, objects, or more. Complete tasks and solve puzzles. Make new friends. Have an adventure and a story to tell. Teams often have to perform a certain task before receiving their next clue. It all takes place on Saturday, November 5th, starting at 9:30 a.m. at Union Station. For more, visit meetup.com/IWannaDoThat. It's the 16th annual Main Street Canoga Park Dia de las Muertes Festival. The street festival is a traditional cultural event that celebrates the ancient Mexican and Central American traditions of paying homage to loved ones who have passed. Festivities are continuous all day in historic downtown Canoga Park, which is the recipient of the All-American City Award. The festival showcases live musical entertainment, vendors, international foods, artist exhibits, altered displays, a children's art pavilion, and a large classic car show. It all takes place at Sherman Way and Canoga Avenue on Sunday, November 6th. For more, visit culturela.org. And that's a look at some things to do. Well, that's going to do it for this edition. I'm Yana Kane from all of us here at LA This Week. Thanks for joining us. A reminder that you can catch us online at lacityview.org. You can also follow and like us on Facebook. We'll see you back here next week for more of LA This Week.
During California's next major earthquake, an epic battle will take place. Don't fight a brick. The brick will win. DareToPrepare.org.
Chambers. Members, if you're before we start for today, I want to welcome all of the young people, and I want to ask you to look at the young lady in front of you with this beautiful dog. I want to thank Mr. Blumenfield, Bonin, again, Cedillo, Harris Dawson, Koretz, Krikorian, and Mr. Rue has arrived. Members, please report to the council chambers. Okay, good morning. Today is Friday, November 4th. I want to welcome you to your Los Angeles City Council. This council meets every Tuesday, Wednesday, and Friday at 10 a.m. Madam Clerk, we do have a quorum. Would you please call the roll?
Blumenfield, Bonin, Buscaino, Cedillo, Englander, Harris Dawson, Weezar, Koretz, Krikorian, Martinez, O'Farrell, Price, Rue, Wesson. 11 members and a quorum, Mr. President.
Thank you. First order of business.
Approval of the minute.
Mr. Price moves and Mr. Koretz seconds. Next.
Commendatory resolutions for approval.
Mr. Koretz moves and Mr. Price seconds. Next.
Items 1 and 2 are items noticed for public hearing.
Do we have cards?
Yes, Mr. President. There are cards on 1 as well as 2.
Okay, continue.
Items 3 through 5 are items for which public hearings have been held, and reports for item 4 and 5 have been submitted and circulated for council's consideration.
Okay, specials. Why don't we prepare then to vote on these items? Let's open the roll, close the roll, tabulate the vote.
11 ayes.
Okay, continue.
Next are items 6 through 8, and those are items for which public hearings have not been held. 10 votes are required for consideration.
Okay, so without objection, those items are now before this body. What items do you have cards on?
Mr. President, there are cards on 6, 7, as well as 8.
Okay, we'll hold that. That brings us where?
That brings council back to presentations, items called special or public comment on items not on the council's agenda, sir.
Thank you.
Mr. President.
Mr. Blumenfield.
May I ask that items 4 and 5 be sent forthwith?
Okay, without objection, that will be the order. Mr. O'Farrell.
Thank you. Kim Marcus is going to declare.
Yeah.
Introduce Kim Marcus.
The floor is yours, sir, and welcome to all our guests.
I want to thank the tribal bird singers. I want to thank the tribal leaders who are here with us today, the Native American community assembled, allies, indigenous peoples everywhere. Now I would like to introduce, Kim Marcus, who is going to offer a prayer.
Shemke, Haminat, Doctoma, Havaka, Shvabatam, Komebatam, Nyanga, Kamenga, Kolenga, Omam, Achamama. What I'm asking is, I'm going to say a few words. This comes from right here in LA, a long-forgotten people. When we inhabited this place, Havaka, we call it, LA Basin, the villages that lived here, the people that we stand on top of, our ancestors, the villages of Shivavatam, Omevatam. These are villages in these areas of our people, the people of the LA east of us. These are lineages I'm talking to you about that are long forgotten. With this day, hopefully they'll be remembered. The people who inhabited this area will open up. I'm going to go north, east, south, and west, up, down, in the center of how our people used to do this beginning of creation.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Kim Marcus and Rudy Ortega. Thank you so much. Council President Wesson, colleagues, esteemed guests in the chamber with us today, I want to officially welcome you to the 2016 American Indian Heritage Month celebration in the city of Los Angeles.
Let's give them a round of applause.
This year's theme, Tribal Traditions, Past, Present, and Future. My remarks today will center around our past, our present, and our future. From the time in 1492 when Christopher Columbus set foot on what is historically referred to as Hispaniola, present-day Haiti and the Dominican Republic, he set in motion a complete annihilation of the original inhabitants of the island. The indigenous Taino, that was what they were called, were believed to have numbered at least 100,000 by most accounts and many hundreds of thousands more by other accounts. After they were conquered, enslaved, and summarily murdered for insubordination, less than a century later, there was literally no visible sign that they had ever existed. Their extinction led the Spanish to begin importing slaves from Africa to work the plantations and mine for gold and other minerals. During the French occupation, beginning in 1625, the African slave trade was accelerated, and we all know the history that followed. Columbus returned to the West Indies and Central and South America 3 more times, setting in motion the same systemic, violent process of dominance, slavery, and subjugation of indigenous people, setting in motion a centuries-long genocide unmatched in breadth and scale anywhere in recorded history. Although Christopher Columbus never set foot on the shores of North America, Native people here shared the same fate as those in the rest of the Western Hemisphere. Hundreds of years later, Spanish explorers came to California. By 1769, a system of 21 missions were becoming established from San Diego to San Francisco. The purpose of the Spanish missions was to subjugate indigenous people to Spanish rule, forcibly convert them to Christianity, claim their land, set up farming, and enslave indigenous people to farm the land. Ironically, the settlements Native Californians were relocated to were called reductions. This lasted until 1833. As bad as all of this sounds, there are reams of documents describing the barbaric activities geared toward Native Americans in California that lasted hundreds of years through Spanish, Mexican, and U.S. rule. The facts are the facts. In the late 1800s, a false mythology set in that sought to rewrite the true history of colonization of the Western Hemisphere and rebrand the first contact of Columbus in 1492 and the genocide that followed as a discovery, by denying the facts and presenting a false narrative that portrayed a more benign history. During this period and into the early 20th century, after over 500 treaties between Native American tribes and the U.S. government had been broken, and every single treaty in U.S. history has been broken, and when Native Americans still didn't have the right to vote, when the Western Indian Wars were still being fought, when open hostility and discrimination against Native Americans was widespread in California and the rest of the country, this false mythology was allowed to take root. Native Americans had no power at any level of society or government. By 1937, after intense lobbying from the Knights of Columbus, Columbus Day was declared a federal holiday. History had been rewritten, the false mythology codified by our own government. The conquest of Americas was literally and figuratively complete once and for all. But colleagues, the truth is pesky, it is stubborn, and it is unrelenting. In this country, despite our own violent history, all of our setbacks, all of our struggles, there has always been an arc toward truth, enlightenment, fairness, equality, and healing. This past year, there was a tipping point across the United States to replace the federal Columbus Day holiday at the state and local level with Indigenous Peoples Day in states and in large and small cities across the country. And in places where the federal holiday wasn't officially observed, like Phoenix, Arizona, where October 12th has been officially designated as Indigenous Peoples Day. In Denver, Columbus Day was replaced, as it has been in most of the cities that have acted, including Seattle, Spokane, Minneapolis, St. Paul, Albuquerque. Vermont became the 5th state to designate October 12th as Indigenous Peoples Day, or a day to officially recognize its Native American origins on October 12th, as has South Dakota, Hawaii, Oregon, and Alaska. In Los Angeles County, the city of San Fernando has officially designated Indigenous Peoples Day, the first city in the county of Los Angeles to do so. This is a progressive, healing movement beginning to sweep across this great country of ours. Last year on this day, I introduced a motion to explore the possibility of Los Angeles following other cities and states to honor our own history. After several months, considerable outreach, and stakeholder participation, a report was generated, and I do hope you all will take the time to read it. Our city is home to the largest indigenous population of any city in the United States. Los Angeles County has about 750,000 people of Native American heritage and many more hundreds of thousands of indigenous people from around the world who call Los Angeles home. It is a stark irony that in Los Angeles, sometimes thought of as ground zero of progressive movements, that we still have Columbus Day codified as an official city holiday. Every year, as we observe the Armenian genocide, the Holocaust, speak out against the myriad injustices that plague the world, let us remember that a powerful, offensive, and divisive symbol of the American genocide remains on our own administrative code as an official City of Los Angeles holiday. Colleagues, as the charade that is Columbus Day becomes more deeply understood, we have an opportunity to take action that is righteous and appropriate, and an action that I believe will be warmly received by most Angelenos. I look forward to continuing this discussion and to becoming part of the progressive shift that has already taken hold across this country. I thank you. Now back to the celebration. I am especially honored to be able to shine the Council spotlight on the cultures and traditions of the rich Native American community in the Los Angeles area. We have a few very special guests joining us, which I would like to honor. Our first honoree, UCLA American Indian Studies Center. UCLA American Indian Studies Center was founded in 1969 at the University of California, Los Angeles, as a research institute dedicated to addressing American Indian issues and supporting Indian communities. The center also serves as a bridge between the Academy and Indigenous peoples locally, nationally, and internationally. Representing the center today, and I'm honored to introduce its director, Shannon Speed.
Thank you so much. On behalf of the American Indian Studies Center, I just want to say we are extremely honored and humbled by this recognition, and we are here to serve. We look forward to working with you in the future and continuing to serve the city and our community. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. So what I'd like to do, we have some gifts from Ms. Speed, yes, and we're going to provide that with you. This is a certificate of recognition for the Center's accomplishments and your contributions to the discussion on Indigenous Peoples Day and so many other causes important to Native Americans in the Los Angeles area. Congratulations.
Thank you so much.
So let's we'll hold this. We can hold this kind of low. We're going to take some pictures now? Okay, we'll take some pictures now. Terrific. That's wonderful. Okay, so you can sit on the bench to be safe. That's fair. We'll take it. Thank you. Thank you, Shannon. Thank you so much. Our second honoree, Martin Sensmeyer. Martin Sensmeyer is from the Tlingit and Koyukon Athabaskan tribes of Alaska. He was raised in Tlingit coastal community in southeast Alaska and grew up learning and participating in the traditions of his people while carrying on the subsistence lifestyle that has been sustained for thousands of years. Martin recently starred in a leading role in the major feature movie, The Magnificent Seven, alongside big names such as Denzel Washington, Chris Pratt, and Ethan Hawke. Martin is an ambassador for Native Wellness Institute and advocates for wellness amongst Native people of all nations. Thank you, Martin Sensmeyer. So there's that. And look at this lovely, lovely bowl. Hold it. Isn't it? That's gorgeous. So,
No, it's from Acoma.
We'll take a picture. I'll hold on to it. Congratulations. This brings us to our third honoree, the American Indian Community Council. AICC aims to strengthen the overall wellness of the LA American Indian children, families, and communities through leadership development, community organizing, self-determination, and cultural values. Representing the council is Eric Sanchez, its president. Mr. Sanchez. Oh. Okay, it's Sean. So who is? Okay. So Sean is going to. No? All right. Is Eric here? Oh, Eric is here. Thank you. Come on up, Eric. Congratulations. You got it. You made it in time. Come on forward, yeah. Congratulations. Yeah, let me say
just real quick. Yate. My name is Eric Sanchez. I am part of the American Indian Community Council, and it's an honor to be up here. I and a surprise. And the AICC is always proud to be part of the community to help and provide whatever leadership and support and resources that we can to assist our community and to ensure that we're fighting for all the causes that are important to our community. And we hope to continue that fight along with a lot of the folks here. And we look forward to continuing the discussions that have been ongoing for the last year on Indigenous Peoples Day here in LA. But again, we thank you for this honor.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, 2016 marks a momentous milestone for the Los Angeles City, County, Native American Indian Commission as they celebrate their 40th anniversary. 40 years of volunteerism and advocacy on behalf of Native Americans in Los Angeles County. Officially established by the County of LA on June 25th, 1976, the Commission was created to serve this population through a joint effort of members of the Native American community and the City, County of Los Angeles. And I would like all of the commissioners to step forward as I provide your names. Rudy Ortega, its chairman. Chrissy Castro, vice chair. Tracy M. Perez, secretary. Andrea M. Diaz, treasurer. Sean Imitates Dog, commission member. Commission members Don Jackson, Robert Judkins, Pat Lopez, Randall Murphy, Jason Eric Reed, Cherie Thomas, and Paula Starr. How about a big round of applause for our commissioners? And equally to all past commissioners over the past 40 years. To say a few words, we have representatives from the commission, Tracy Perez and Randall Murphy. Randall, go for it.
Thank you, Councilman O'Farrell. Thank you, Chairman. And thank the City Council as a whole for this opportunity. We want to thank the people in 1976 who sat on this council and the supervisors at that time, but this council which passed the ordinance and arranged the contract to establish the only Native American Indian Commission in the country at that time and the only major city Native American Indian Commission at the current time. We deeply appreciate the platform you have given us and the help you have given us and the funding you have given us to pursue and enable the needs of the Native American community of Los Angeles and Los Angeles County, and to help solve some of the outstanding problems which so many of you are aware of in our community, and to move forward as an Indigenous group. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Randall. Thank you, Randall. And a slight change in the program. We're going to have Chrissy Castro, Vice Chair, also say a few words. Chrissy?
Thank you. Good morning.
Let's give Chrissy a round of applause.
I just want to thank the City Council for this courage to have this conversation about these really difficult topics around Columbus Day and Indigenous Peoples Day. And I know today is a day of celebration, and we want to keep that tone. We have hundreds of Native American youth in the audience today, and this is the future leadership of this city. And I just want to honor and recognize them for the courage, the leadership, and the conviction that they're bringing to this celebration today. Thank you.
Thank you, Chrissy. Thank you so much. I also want to acknowledge some special guests and organizations with us today, a few who aren't able to be here today, but starting with Chief Anthony Morales, Gabrielino Tongva of San Gabriel Tribe. Chief Morales. There he is. Wonderful. And you already heard, and we were part of the ceremony given to us by Dr. Kim Marcus. Thank you so much, Dr. Marcus. I'd like to acknowledge the Torres Martinez Desert Cahuilla Indians. Danielle Brazel of our own Los Angeles Cultural Affairs Department is here. Danielle, thank you so much, and to your department. Various tribal leaders and representatives, and those who a few who couldn't join us, Lynn Valbuena, chairwoman of the San Manuel tribe, and Brian McDonald of Tassin. Some special announcements, colleagues. Currently and through the month of November, we have the 2016 American Indian Heritage Month, Tribal Traditions, Past, Present, and Future art exhibit on the City Hall Bridge Gallery, showcasing beautiful painting, photographs, art, illustrations, and designs by the American Indian community, many of the artists we have joining us here today. Also, the 10th annual LA Skins Fest from November 15th through November 20th at Barnsdall Art Park in my own district, at the Gallery Theater, TCL Theater, and various venues. LA Skins Fest offers a genuine voice of emerging Native American actors, filmmakers, writers, directors, musicians, and our community of artists. I would now like to present the Commission with this resolution recognizing November of 2016 as American Indian Heritage Month in the City of Los Angeles. Commissioners, please step forward. We can all kind of squeeze in. I want to make sure everyone, Patty, you get up front. Yeah.
Too short.
Yeah. Like my mom. Before we unveil this year's program, a special thank you again to the Department of Cultural Affairs and artists Ray Rivera of the Bahi Creative Group for his great creative work, which you're about to see. So I'd like to invite Rudy, the honorees, the commission, Ray, so we can unveil the poster. And after we do that, we are going to open the floor. We're going to start our meeting. But before we do that, I just want to thank everyone for joining us. The celebrations will continue in the forecourt and with lots of great music and performances and additional words by folks who haven't had the chance to yet speak. And a powwow, essentially, right? Tomorrow's a powwow. Okay, I need to mention the powwow. When is it and where is it? Grand Park Powwow.
You can see it from the rotunda. Just look down in those grounds. That grassy area is where it's going to be.
10.
Tomorrow from 10 to 10.
Tomorrow, Saturday, from 10 a.m. to 10 p.m. Please join us. Thank you so much. Let's unveil the piece of art. Thank you.
That's okay. Let's see, it's like maybe on that side. So yeah, and then Councilman, you're good right there. Just make sure you face this way. Let's count it down. Let's count it down. Yeah. 1, 2.
Thank you so much, Council President West and colleagues, distinguished guests. Let's enjoy Native American Indian Heritage Month in the City of Los Angeles. May God bless. Thank you.
Let's give him one more round of applause. And Mr. O'Farrell. Mr. O'Farrell, and if everyone could just wait a moment before you exit. If you could just wait a moment before you exit. On behalf of the council, I want to thank you all for coming here today. and for being with us every year since I have been here. I want each and every one of you to know that we heard the message that was delivered to all of us, that we commend our friend and colleague Mitch O'Farrell for beginning this conversation, and we know there's going to be some uncomfortability for certain people, but we want to let you know that we appreciate your courage, and we want to make it clear to everybody that's here today, if there was a vote today to establish an Indigenous People Day, that vote would be unanimous. What we need to do now what we will be doing now, and what Mr. O'Farrell and I did for 3 or 4 days this week, is figure out the process in which we are going to move forward. We're going to use all of the information that was put together by Mr. O'Farrell's committee and the Human Relations Commission, and then that will go to my committee, which is the Rules Committee, which handles things of this nature. And I give you my word that we will work very fast to get this done. But again, I want to thank each and every one of you for coming today. Let's give them one more round of applause. And again, we salute you, Mr. O'Farrell.
Thank you.
Okay, Arlene. In the interest of time, as I mentioned earlier today is Pet Adoption Friday or Dog Adoption Friday. What we have before you today is a mixed Maltese Poodle mix that is looking for a home. Poor thing is nervous as she can be. You see, she has very unique coloring. Her name is Mimi. She is a great companion dog. She's looking for a home. If you have interest, please contact. I'm looking for the phone number. Can I get the phone number up on the screen for those that would be interested in Mimi? In fact, if you would like to adopt Mimi, and here in the city we have a 100% adoption rate, please call 888-452-7381. Mimi's about 7 years old, looking for a home. So please, if you want to have a companion animal, please give us a call and take Mimi home with you today. We've had a lot of people look at her today, but no takers as of yet. Please, let's keep our 100% adoption rate. I have with me Arlene, one of our animal services folks, who always picks out the great dogs to bring. So anyway, we're going to keep Arlene and Mimi here for a while. Let's send Mimi home to a new home today. So please, if you're in this building and you're interested in Mimi, come down to the 3rd floor of the council chambers so that you can get a chance to meet her. If you want to take a picture and send it to your parents or your significant other to get permission to take her home, please do that. Remember, whenever you're doing more than just adopting a dog, you're saving her life. We do the very best that we can to get all of our animals adopted, but we're asking on the public to truly help us do that. And again, I can't think of a better companion animal than Mimi. So if you have any interest in taking home a companion animal, taking home Mimi, please call 888-452-7381. Please, let's do that. Last week, it was Mr. Cedillo's office that adopted the cute little dog. We're now looking for someone else to take Mimi home. So thank you, Arlene, for coming. And remember, Mimi is available. Again, so if there's any interest, just, kind of shake your hand. Arlene, maybe you can walk around so that folk can see Mimi, so that we can try to find her a home beginning tonight. Okay, now we're going to go into our multiple public comment section, which is on the agenda, and public comment, general public comment. I want to start off by calling Mr. Eric Previn. Mr. Previn, your item 1, 2, 7, 8, and public comment. Mr. Previn, please come forward.
Good morning, Council President Wesson. It is Eric Previn. And I must say thank you to Mr. O'Farrell, and that was a very moving presentation. I think it's about time, and frankly...
Stay on the subject, Mr. Previn, and you can do that during general public comment.
Right. That's upsetting, but sure. That was very moving, and I do appreciate it. Item number 1 is less moving. It's CD12, the Business Improvement District. We have a business improvement in Chatsworth, Englanders Territory. We have one in Studio City as well. And, they do a decent job. As you know, John Walker in Studio City got appointed. He was the president of the Neighborhood Council for about a decade. Now he runs the Business Improvement District, and he's doing a nice job in general. What it gets at, sir, is community interest and business interest and the divergence thereof. Sometimes they're aligned, public safety, and sometimes they're a little skewed. I think in Englanders District, they're all one big happy family. Everybody loves everybody, so I think we're okay over there. I think, but I'm not 100% sure about that. You could ask Fauble how the lawsuits are doing over there. Item number 2, sir, it sounds like you're teasing people. It's a public... we're going to be providing a liquor license, obviously. We've determined that it is a public convenience or necessity, one or the other. No need to specify now. It's not a dangerous area. It's South Broadway. I believe it's Weezar, who has been absent for several days. But this one is for a group, a little lounge called Birds and the Bees Lounge. So that is amusing. Obviously, it's a good place to go connect, perhaps, if that's your thing. Birds and the Bees, the children all know what that means. And I would just recommend that if we are going to be going forward with this kind of a liquor license, we do install the appropriate vending machines for ancillary equipment that might be appropriate if we are going to be playing the Birds and the Bees soundtrack. Sir, item number, I believe it was 7 that you mentioned, is Public Works is bringing forward Envision, italicized trademark. This is a setup to review the way we do our planning. It's computerized. Hilda Solis gave this so many rubber stamps that her arm almost started hurt. She was so excited about this. And Gail Farber, the head of Public Works at the county, rolled it out with a big kiss, and then she retired. So I don't know. I think it's a good thing. I think it's going to help us with some of our technological needs in the planning department about three-dimensional, where's the river going to go, and that kind of stuff, although they're going to be paid nicely, I assume. Item number 8, sir, is Buscaino, is preparing a $1.3 million one-year contract only for General Electric. Now, who doesn't love General Electric? I would say everybody loves General Electric, sir, so there's no reason not to do this. It's for a common information portal. I'm sure they've discussed it with Blumenfield, who likes common information portals, where they can get access through one. It's kind of one-stop shopping, the opposite of what we're doing here at the City of Los Angeles for permits and for all the confusion that people grieve about publicly endlessly. So I'll go to my general.
Thank you. Could you give him his minute for general?
He's giving me 2, sir, because they are liking it today. So my general public comment has to be, unfortunately, today I wrote in the City Watch with my brother Joshua an article about the county tax collector who has done a deal with Fidelity for information systems, whatever, where they are charging for folks who can't quite make the property tax payments. And as a public service, if you missed November 1, December 10 is the deadline. You must get in there or they will shut the trap on your hand and you'll have a 10% penalty, sir. So please focus on that. I know historically many of us, including yourself, have had issues with these kinds of timely payments. So folks who are late want to put it on the credit card, go ahead and do so. It's a good deal because you won't be paying 10%, you'll be paying much lower. But the problem is the county is penalizing and charging a fee on the total tax of 2.1% plus $5.95. This is the equivalent if you pay $10,000 like someone maybe at Blumenfield's level in property taxes to put it on your credit card. What is it's $210, sir.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Previn. And I just want to announce that we have a young lady in the back that is in the process of adopting Mimi. So our dog will be adopted today. And our 100, in this back, kids, I see young people too, in my back filling out the paperwork to provide Mimi with a home. Okay, now I'd like to call forward Mr. Walsh. Mr. Walsh. You have items 1, 2, 6, 7, 8, and then your general public comment. Mr. Walsh, please come forward.
John Walsh, blogging at HollywoodHighlands.org or J. Walsh Confidential, tweeting at Hollywood Dems. Number 1 is a business improvement district. That's where they double charge you for local taxes. And sometimes it's used to help businesses if they're bars. This Chatsworth Business District. Number 2 is my favorite. Beverages. Okay, we need another alcohol license. We don't have enough. We have the highest rate of hit and run in America and the highest rate per mile in a city of 100% alcohol bars. But this is my favorite. This is for the on-site consumption at the Birds and the Bees Bar Lounge. I'm not making this up. I kid you not. The Birds and the Bees. This city is full of bars, and the police have been told, they see somebody weaving, don't worry, wait till they hit somebody, then catch them. The blood of every hit and run victim, when you sign off on another alcohol tax, is on your all white hands. And you got all white hands. You should be, especially Mr. Cedillo.
Just stay on the subject.
Who is black himself.
Stay on the subject.
Okay, next one is 6, 7, and 8. 6, 7, and 8. REAP, Rent Escrow Account Program. I say, when you do a good job, I say you do a good job. I'm not one of these old white guys who say you're all a bunch of crooks. I'm not that way. When you do a good job, I tell you do a good job. Next one is Envision. a point-based sustainability rating system and planning guide for introducing sustainability elements into Bureau of Engineering, infrastructure projects, and other city projects. What does that mean? I don't know. You don't know, but you're going to vote 15-0 for it. They just vote whatever the mayor and Herb tell them. Of course, Herb is a tool of the mayor.
Just stay on the subject.
7 and number 8, this concerns review of the anticipated action. It hasn't even happened yet. Board of Harbor Commissioners to award a 1-year contract to General Electric for Port Information Portal Pilot Project. More bureaucracy. And how much is this? They're not going to discuss it. It's nothing. It's only $1,319,050. If you spent that on fire detection, you wouldn't have had a fire on Tuesday in this building. And now I'm going into public comment.
Sharon, give him his
general public comment. Number 1, no on Measure M. The Expo line is the Rosemary's Baby of public transit. Everybody's laughing. You killed somebody at Expo. Now, if the person had my white color skin, you would have read about it.
Speaking to the mic.
You would have read about it, but the person had a darker skin than I did, and you didn't give a syphilitic rat's ass about that man who was killed, run over by an Expo line because he wasn't white. Because this is a very famous song. I don't know if you've heard it. If you're white, that's all right. Now, if you're brown, you can stay around. But if you're black, stay back, stay back, stay back. That's a civil rights song. I'm sure none of you have ever sung it. HollywoodHighlands.org. No on Measure M. Don't hand MTA a forever tax. HollywoodHighland.org. No on Measure M.
Thank you. Okay, now, where's... Well, Mr. Clerk, let's prepare to vote. We can vote on items 1, 2, 6, 7, and 8. So you have that? Let's open the roll, close the roll, tabulate the vote.
11 ayes.
Mr. Blumenfield.
Request that item 8 be sent forthwith.
Okay, without objection, that'll be the order. Okay, so what we're going to do now, we're going to go to general public comment. And if I could start off, I'm going to call several folk up at one time if you got to come up and get behind one another. So Michelle Garcia, Freddie Romero, Christina Alvarez, please come forward. Alexa Serrano. Don't be shy. Come on. Welcome. We're excited to have you here.
Hello, City Council. My name is Alexa Serrano. I'm from Alliance Collins Family College, Ready High School. In my junior year, and I'm an honors student. I am here today because I believe that the City Council should change Columbus Day to Indigenous Day because I do not believe in celebrating sufferment. In Columbus Controversy, it states that Columbus' interactions with indigenous people, he labeled natives, the use of violence and slavery, the forced conversion of native peoples to Christianity, and the introduction to new diseases. From my point of view, Columbus is not a historical figure I would like to celebrate. He was a greedy, power-hungry man that saw Native Americans as obstacles rather than friends. Why would Americans worship a man that ethnically cleansed more than 100 Native Americans? Furthermore, that suffering did not end when Columbus left. Americans took their land, religion, culture, and language.
Thank you. Thank you. So next, identify yourself, please, young man.
I was told I was going to given 2 minutes.
No, it's a 1 minute, and you are?
Christian Alvarez.
Okay, go right ahead.
I'm here today because the City of Los Angeles should replace Columbus Day with Indigenous People Day. I'm aware that Native Americans are living through our community of Los Angeles. In my English class, we were discussing about the idea of changing Columbus Day to Indigenous People Day. Because Columbus did not help the indigenous people, but instead caused them much harm by enslaving them, I strongly feel that as a kid, I'd like to know the truth about this nation instead of being lied to. Columbus was not a man I like to celebrate. For instance, he used indigenous people as slaves. He used violence and also forced them to be in the Christian religion. We thank this hero for finding new land, although it was perfectly fine without them, and the indigenous people were grateful for this land. Columbus was a horrific person with no intention to share the land, but instead wanted to take it and conquer all that were there. I have a strong feeling that this humble home of Los Angeles should stop celebrating Columbus Day and start celebrating the culture of Indigenous People Day.
Thank you, sir. Yes, identify yourself.
My name is Freddie Romero, and I believe that the city of Los Angeles should not replace Columbus Day with Indigenous Day because it pays as a tribute to Christopher Columbus, who created a connection between the old world and the new world. For instance, the article Less Than Heroic Christopher Columbus by Ian W. Toe states, if Columbus had never lived, the old and the new world were destined to collide sooner or later. That collision was always going to be catastrophic for the native peoples of the Americas. This suggests that Christopher Columbus had never created the connection between the new world and the old world. Someone else would have done it. Although Columbus may be blamed for sparking the disappearance of the Native Americans, he is not credited for the millions of people that live in the exact same land 300 years later. Therefore, we should celebrate Christopher Columbus Day instead of Indigenous Day. Thank you for your time.
Hi.
Hi, my name is Michelle Garcia, and I am here today because the city of Los Angeles should, in fact, replace Columbus Day with Indigenous Day because it will reveal a truth in history that has been hidden for multiple years. Ever since elementary school, I was often told Christopher Columbus was a very heroic person that made multiple positive impacts in society. But it wasn't until I was currently informed in my English class that Christopher Columbus did the extreme opposite of what I was often told. In the article, Columbus Controversy, that was published in 2009 states, Columbus and his men enslaved many native inhabitants to extreme violence and cruelty. It is clear to say that Columbus took full advantage by being the first European that sailed to America. Enslaving innocent people does not signify a heroic person. So why is it that Columbus has a specific day all to himself? Columbus was sent to discover new land, but he took full advantage of this opportunity by making innocent Native Americans suffer severe events. Being able to dedicate a day to those who suffered many extreme tragedies would allow people to further become aware of the solitary truth about Christopher Columbus.
Thank you. So, I'm going to try to get through, I have all of these cards and more. I'm going to try to get through as many as I can before we lose a quorum. We're just about bare minimum. So if you come up quickly when I call you, we give more people the opportunity to speak. Joseph Brea, Shannon Speed, Father Tom, Patricia Lopez, Hudson Tibet, maybe. Please come forward. Yes.
Good morning, council members. My name is Joe Barra. I am a faculty member at UCLA School of Law. I teach in the Immigrant Rights Clinic and also in the International Human Rights Clinic. I come today in support of Indigenous Peoples Day. I'm a second-generation Italian-American. My grandparents immigrated from Italy from 1903 to 1918, and I am an Italian citizen by descent. There are many beautiful things about who we are as Italian-Americans, but Christopher Columbus is not one of them. He's the wrong symbol for our time and for our place. Now, however, is the time, and here is the place, to acknowledge and honor and heal our relationship with the First Peoples, with all of these beautiful people who are here this morning, on whose land we live and move and have our being. And that's why I support Councilman O'Farrell's proposal and ask you to please establish the second Monday of October as
Thank you, sir. Thank you. If I could have the next, please, come on.
Chokma. Greetings, council members. My name is Dr. Shannon Speed, and I'm a Chickasaw tribal citizen, and I'm the director of the American Indian Studies Center at UCLA. I honor the Tongva and Tataviam First Peoples of Los Angeles by coming before you today to unite my voice with that of the community in expressing our disappointment that in spite of the fact that so many of us have come before you in recent weeks to tell you how much it meant for us, the establishment of Indigenous Peoples Day, and how important it was to eliminate the ongoing harm of Columbus Day, that you did not put it on your agenda for a vote today. I was pleased to hear that you plan to move it forward quickly, and I encourage you to do so. I say this because in failing to do so, were you to fail to do so, you would not only fail to recognize and acknowledge the Indigenous peoples of this city, but you would accomplish making us feel even more marginalized, silent.
Thank you. Father, please come forward. Yes, sir.
My name is Father Tom Schweitzer. I'm the chaplain for the Native American Catholic community. I was appointed by the Archbishop, which I was honored and humbled because I don't have a drop of Native blood in me. But they were asked, because I can speak as a non-Native, with the idea that, well, first of all, Columbus Day is cute, but it's like you can discuss who, with the Vikings or St. Brendan, whoever found, but that shouldn't be the defining point of when the development of this continent happened, because there was so much more. What they discovered was a thriving civilization. So, speaking as a white person, asking for an Indigenous Day, I think, well, first of all, being Catholic, I know guilt. So my point would be that it doesn't have to be an Ash Wednesday for white people, where we're always I was always sorry for what happened.
Thank you. Thank you, Father. Thank you. So if I can get the next, I'm trying to get everybody in here. Miss Lopez, I think, is Miss Lopez. Yes.
Greetings. My name is Patricia Lopez. I am a member of the Pueblo Nation. My village is Taos, New Mexico. And my family came here in the Indian Relocation Act. I was born in Aliso Village on the couch, where it was housing for Native peoples who came from New Mexico, Oklahoma, Arizona. And I want to say that I think you are all familiar with the personage of Edward R. Roybal, correct? He was my mom's cousin. She was full Native. So what does that make him? Congressman. He's got a federal building named after him, an indigenous man. In those days, you didn't really tell who you were that much. You know, you kept to your place because that's where you were supposed to be. This assimilation was rampant, and it was strong. I just want you to know that about that wonderful man. And there was a girl in Laguna Pueblo, New Mexico, who...
Thank you.
Okay, I have a gift for you.
Thank you. Please, sergeants, and thank you. Okay, so, yes, sir. And after you, I want, there's a Nancy Marie, Chief Morales, Leland Morrell or Morrill, Michelle Infill. Yes, sir.
Good morning. My name is Chanusta Hudson Tibbetts. I am Eastern Cherokee through my father, Nanticoke from Delaware through my mother, with a hefty portion of British European in the mix. I am also an administrator at LAC USC Medical Center, and I'm the chair of City of Angels Two Spirit Society. Coincidentally, I was born on October 12th, Columbus Day, 1956. I'm very much in support of this council renaming Columbus Day for Indigenous Peoples Day on behalf of my ancestors and all the Native Americans that are here today. Thank you.
No, thank you, sir. Chief Morales.
I'm Chief Anthony Morales, tribal chairman of the Gabrielino San Gabriel Band of Mission Indians. I am a direct descendant of the ancestry that built the San Gabriel Mission in 1771, that same ancestry that founded Los Angeles in 1781. I ask on behalf of our people that there's nothing in this city that honors our people or recognizes our people, the first inhabitants, the founders of Los Angeles. I ask us that you hear us. Please declare Indigenous Peoples Day. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Good to see you again, sir. Next speaker. Hi.
Good morning. My name is Nancy Marie Meithlow. I am a professor at Occidental College and chair of American Indian Studies at the Autry Museum of the American West. I've been teaching in college classrooms for 30 years as an American Indian Studies scholar. The legislation to establish Indigenous Peoples Day on October 12th is necessary, not only for our own Native peoples, but for our society as a whole. 2 weeks ago, I welcomed into this world my grandson, right here in Los Angeles. And like many of you, I, for him, have a mixture of hope and concern. My concern is, what is his future in this world? What is the future for our Native students? High school graduation rate for American Indians is 67%, the lowest of any racial and ethnic group, the lowest of any racial and ethnic group. Historically, Indian education was not education for Indians, but a tool for other purposes, assimilating Indian children and seizure of Indian lands. A 2014 White House Native Youth Report states Native Youth...
Thank you. Thank you, and congratulations on the birth of your grandchild. Next speaker, please.
Thank you. My name is Leland Morrill. I'm a citizen of the Navajo Nation and a resident of Los Angeles. And I'm going to start by reading a page out of this Toi Purina, Toi Purina, the Joan of Arc of California. This was printed by the Kitts Press, which is part of the San Gabriel Mission Indians. And so this says, the Gabrielino are in many ways one of the most interesting yet least known of Native peoples. At the time of Spanish contact in 1769, they occupied the most richly endowed coastal section in Southern California. With the possible exception of the Chumash, the Gabrielino were the wealthiest, most populous, and most powerful ethnic nationality in Aboriginal Southern California. This is who I want to learn about for Indigenous Peoples Day being replacing Columbus Day with Indigenous Peoples Day on the second Monday of October of every year here in California. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, please. Yes.
Yat Eben. First of all, I'd like to thank Councilmember O'Farrell for giving us a succinct, factual American history, and also to Chrissy Castro for acknowledging the delicacy of this issue. Having an affinity toward Christopher Columbus, Columbus Day, America, or anything else that exudes pride in residing in this country is patriotism. Patriotism is also about being proud of our country's way of life, the evolution of our humanity, and embracing every individual that makes our country diverse and productive. Having a recognized Indigenous Day on the second Monday of October, will provide us with an even richer history than what we have with Columbus Day. It will represent the people of our country pre-1776 and even 1492. By expanding our knowledge of the history, the full history of how this country was founded, we as citizens can assist in a healing process that will benefit Los Angeles, California, and beyond.
Thank you.
My name is Martin Sensmar. I'm of the Eagle Bear Clan from the Tlingit tribes of Alaska. And I just want to thank you for allowing us to be here today. We appreciate it. And I hope that we can get this changed in the name of humanity for all people, out of respect for not just indigenous people, but all people. And to me, Columbus, more than a person, represents an idea, and that idea is what is responsible for the decimation of our culture, our language, and our communities. And changing it is a major step in healing for all of us.
Thank you. So, before you start, please, you have to wait until I call your name, because it's given it to me in order, and I need to be fair to everybody. You are?
My name is Josie. My native name is Wanaki. I'm from a Hopi Nation, and also I'm here representing all of my people, which is everyone. And as part of my nation, I feel very greatly and profound that Indigenous Day does take place, because it's not only speaking for one nation, it speaks for many nations. And as we all are standing here together today, speaking on behalf of our ancestors that are here and everywhere, we ask that you'd consider and make sure that not only and throughout our schools, as you see our youth, future generation, they need to know who we really are, who actually their ancestors are and is. And as today, I thank everybody from here who is voting on behalf of having Indigenous Day instead of Columbus Day. And that will make sure, as the brother spoke before, there will be a lot of healing happening starting from this day on, if it does, we do get to have our Indigenous Day. So today I ask, and I thank everybody for coming up here today and speaking with their heart, their mind, and their strength and their spirit. That's all I got to state. I'm not great at speaking, but that's what I state. So thank you.
Thank you, and it was well said. So if I could have Terry J., Ms. Castro, David Connell or David O'Connell, Sylvia Salazar, Tanisha Knapp Christian. Yes, ma'am. Identify yourself.
Yate Terry J. Inishia. My name is Terry J. I am a member of the Navajo tribe of the Navajo Nation. Hello, good morning to all my Native brothers and sisters and constituents of the LA City Council and all LA residents. I am representing as a proud Navajo trans woman, resident of Los Angeles, and proud to be standing on the native land that Los Angeles sits on. I am also a representative of the Los Angeles Human Relations Commission's new Historical Transgender Advisory Council, representing the visibility of Native American trans women community in Los Angeles. Today, for the month of November, honors Native American Indian Heritage Month that celebrates Native culture and honoring Native history. I am proud to be Navajo. I am here as a Navajo, as a Native, to ask of you to take into account in establishing Indigenous Peoples Day for the City of Los Angeles that represents all tribal nations. Thank you. And a kahab.
Thank you.
Good morning, City Council. I just want to thank you so much for hearing us and for having the patience and the courage to hear us. I really appreciate your hearts and your minds with us. On behalf of the LA Indigenous Peoples Day Coalition, we urge you to take a vote on the creation of Indigenous Peoples Day in LA, and I'm very happy to hear this morning that this will happen soon. I want to tell you why we believe this holiday should replace the current Columbus Day and not be on a different day. Christopher Columbus landed in Hispaniola on October 12, 1492. Across the country, Indigenous communities and peoples have reclaimed that very specific day as a day to remember the Indigenous peoples whose lands, cultures, and lives were forever scarred not by his arrival but by his actions. This is an act of reconciliation. It's an act of righting a historic wrong, and we have been celebrating Indigenous Peoples Day for decades. So that is the day that we want to celebrate our community and our resilience.
Thank you. Thank you. And Ms. Castro, my office is going to be reaching out to you. I know you requested a meeting because I do want to have a conversation with you that's not a minute so that you can give me your thoughts or what have you. So expect that. So we will be meeting. Okay, so if I could get David O'Connell. And if I don't have David, if I could get Sylvia Salazar and Ms. Christian, I have a Marcos Aguilar. Yes, ma'am.
Greetings. I'm Sylvia Mendivi Salazar. I'm Akime Atam and also Yaqui. And I am coordinator for Native American Concerns with the Archdiocese of Los Angeles. And I believe that turning Columbus Day into Indigenous Day can be a healing process between indigenous and unindigenous societies as we advance the knowledge and appreciation of indigenous contributions that help save the world. The entire world has benefited from the wide range of sciences indigenous only to the Americas, to the landing of Columbus on our shores. We have brought medicines as quinine, prevents and cures malaria. 75% of medicines from traditional indigenous people has helped the human health, and many textiles have improved as a result. And I hope there's a lot more.
Thank you. Next, please. Yes, ma'am.
Hi, my name is Tahasha Knapp Christensen, and just to be clear, I want to say that I'm in support of Indigenous Peoples Day replacing Columbus Day. I am of the Omaha Nation of Nebraska and a lifelong LA community member. And I would like to say that, that we're still here, and I feel that, growing up in LA and anywhere I go, I'm always invisible to the public. And I think that Indigenous Peoples Day can do a lot to raise that visibility. With everything going on in Standing Rock, I think that's helped to do that a lot. And this is just another way to support Native people, having been under attack by armed forces right now. I know you just passed the Standing Rock resolution. I was here for that. And I think this is another way of, confirming that position. I trust everybody, and I really thank you for making these moves here, and especially Councilman Mitchell Farrell.
Thank you. Mr. Akala, I did not call your name. Would you please sit down? Sir, please come. Please, your name has not been called. Take a seat. This is a very, very important issue, so please sit down. Yes, sir. Identify yourself.
I'm Alan Salazar, chairman of the Fernandino Tataviam Band of Mission Indians Elders Council.
Guys, you got to wait till I call your name. Now, but go ahead. You have to do that. Go ahead.
I was born in San Fernando, California. I am the son of Abel and Teresa Salazar, the grandson of Vera Emanuel Salazar, and the great-grandson of Antonio Maria Ortega. Antonio Maria Ortega was born in 1857, my great-grandfather. When he was born in 1857, California still had bounties out for California Indians. Someone could have killed my great-grandfather and been paid for his head or for his scalp. I want to encourage you to acknowledge Indigenous people today, to pass this resolution. Above the door back there it says, law is reason without passion.
Thank you, sir. So I'm looking for Marcos Aguilar, Ansel Rodriguez. I believe this is Leila Solis, and Desiree, I can't quite make out the last name. Yes, sir.
May I speak now?
Yes, sir.
Totawan iwan tonawan, nani toka Marcos Aguilar, iwan nani walewa anawakalmekak. Good morning, brothers and sisters, councilmen. Thank you for having us today and for this special celebration. My name is Marcos Aguilar. I'm the executive director of Semilla Social Civil and head of school, one of two heads of school of Anahuacalmecac International University Preparatory, a school that we founded in East Los Angeles about 14 years ago, precisely because of the problems that celebrating Columbus Day causes in public schools, precisely because of the emotional trauma caused when indigenous culture, indigenous languages, and indigenous children are not taken into account. There are hundreds of thousands of indigenous children in Los Angeles schools. According to LAUSD statistics, only 900 exist. But what about all the Zapoteca students, the Mayan students, the peoples who Columbus actually physically invaded, the Taino residents of those islands? And so I'd like to urge that we honor Indigenous Peoples Day on October.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for coming down. So do I have Ansel Rodriguez? Thank you again. Yes.
Thank you, Chairman and members of the council. I am Quistoca Xcuatli, and I am Mexica with my indigenous ties coming from Jalisco, Guadalajara, Mexico. According to historians such as Howard Zinn, Christopher Columbus's expeditions initiated the oppression, murder, rape, and trauma that has affected my family and nations for 524 years, not just here in Los Angeles, but all over the Americas. The removal of Christopher Columbus Day and establishment of Indigenous Peoples Day in a community like Los Angeles, with around 500,000 indigenous youth, would be a step towards reconciliation with us, the indigenous peoples of this land. That is why we need to abolish the day that represents the atrocities that happen to our people and move forward with the day that embraces our people. and encourages our youth to look towards our future with hope. Thank you.
Thank you. Yes, please come and identify yourself. Please come and state your name. Hi.
Hello, Layla Solis. Good morning. I am Layla Solis. I'm an indigenous youth from Tlaltenango, Zacatecas. I stand here not to explain why Columbus Day should not be celebrated. Instead, I urge you to replace Columbus Day with Indigenous Peoples Day. Sorry. As an indigenous youth, it is my duty to ensure that my culture is carried on for generations to come because my younger brother deserves to know his culture. He deserves to know that he is not the descendant of a man who invaded the land of others, but that he is the descendant of beautiful and resilient people. Because of this, I urge you replace Columbus Day with Indigenous Peoples Day once and for all. Thank you.
Thank you. So if I could get our, is this Desiree? Desiree? And after you, God, I don't know if I can do the last name, Daniel Camp Constantin. I know I messed that up, so I apologize. Hector Perez Pacheco and Potenza. Yes, ma'am.
Yat'e, my name is Desiree Bilon. I am a member of the Navajo Nation. I am a direct descendant to a code talker, Harry Bilon. I stand here before you in representation of Title VII Indian Education LAUSD, and we wanted to share with you that our youth, we have a 60% graduation rate for our Native students. Also, we want to urge you to establish Indigenous Peoples Day and replace Columbus Day. Thank you.
No, thank you. Next, please. Your name?
Daniel Campos Canton. I'm actually a commissioner for the Human Relations. Thank you very much, Mr. O'Farrell, and I would like to work with you, and we have the possibility to move this thing forward. I'm not speaking on behalf of the commission. I'm speaking as an indigenous from the Yucatan. I'm a Mayan person. Malokin means good morning to everyone. And I would like to say that this is not about a replacement. It's not about not acknowledging. This is about understanding that there is a transition. Our country is a place of change. We have modified what we have done in the past and acknowledged what is right. And today we are here to understand that indigenous people do see as the moment of changing their whole life, the moment that Columbus arrived to America. But if you want to give credit to someone, why you don't give it to Amerigo Vespucci, which is actually what the person who would discover America. Bottom line, this is about a transition. We've got to be political about it. We have to use diplomacy to do it. And most important, we've got to acknowledge the indigenous people. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Yes, sir. Please come forward. Identify yourself.
Good morning. My name is Hector Perez Pacheco. I'm a Quechua native from the Confederation Tahuantinsuyo. My people, they refer to us as Incas, we refer to us as Quechuas. And we have a prophecy called, we refers to as the Condor and Eagle prophecy, and that's a prophecy of the unification of our nations and of our people. And we're manifesting today this prophecy of unity among peoples. Also, it's also an opportunity to remember our ancestors and where our ancestors experienced. And today is to provide clarity of what steps that we need to take in the future. So I thank the leadership of Councilman Alfaro and our President Herb Reston for entertaining this idea and this mission. Thank you.
No, thank you. Okay, so who's next?
My daughter was also in the cards, Julia Perez Pacheco. I think.
Well, I can't separate you and your child. Come on, Julia. But after you, I'm looking for Ann Potenza. Yes, ma'am.
Good morning, council members. I'm honored to be here in front of you today. My name is Julia Perez Pacheco. I am 12 years old in 7th grade attending KIPP Academy of Innovation. I am a Quechua and Cora Huichol native from Peru and Mexico. I'm here today because I want to help raise awareness in my community about abolishing Christopher Columbus Day and making it into Indigenous Peoples Day. I am here on behalf of all the indigenous children who cannot be here today, and on behalf of the future generations. Columbus is someone we shouldn't be proud of. Indigenous people shouldn't be proud of an individual who took the identity of our people by taking away their cultures and practices. I encourage you to abolish Columbus Day forever so that the future generations don't have to be celebrating someone, an individual who dishonored our people. Thank you for your time.
Yes, identify yourself, please.
Hello, my name is Ann Potenza. I'm the president of Federated Italo-Americans, which represents 130 Italian-American organizations in Southern California. I would like to go on record that we fully support implementing Indigenous Peoples Day. It's very important. We do believe that the contribution should be celebrated, as well as we do believe that what we do celebrate as Italian Americans on the second Monday of October with Columbus Day is the fact that that is the reason that we are all here, that the reason that the immigrant experience happened, the stuff that happened with the Columbian Exchange, the reason that we are in this building, the reason why our country was founded with the government that we are in right now is because of the beauty of immigration as well as appreciating the people that were here. I believe there should be recognition for both communities because we all are one here. We've come together, and I think it's the challenge for the committee to find the way to...
Thank you. And challenge, I hear you. Estella Bouquet, Kimberly Cheriz, Paula Starr, Sunny Skyhawk Lakota, Randall Murphy. Please identify yourself.
Hi, my name is Estella Burke, and I'm 12 years old. I am Muskogee Creek in Oklahoma. All my life, I've heard these stories about how great Christopher Columbus was, and he started America, and that he was so great. But really and truly, he wasn't the first person here. We had people living here for a long time that had lives and had families and didn't need somebody to come and destroy all of that and to kill their families and to separate them. Holidays should not be given to people who kill people. We don't have holidays. Like, people should have holidays that... people should be given holidays if they do something good. And, we don't have holidays for people like Hitler, and we don't have holidays for people that go around killing people because they don't like them. And that's not something that we should have.
Thank you, young lady. Next, please. Please, because I'm going to be losing a quorum real soon. Yes, ma'am.
Ishte Nakstoma. My name's Paula Starr. I'm a member of the Native American Indian Commission. I'm also the executive director for Southern California Indian Center. I've been there for almost 30 years. I grew up here because of the Relocation Act. I'm a direct descendant of Chief Black Kettle. He was my great-great-grandfather. And I'm a longtime resident here in Los Angeles. And it's our duty as citizens to support you as council members, as our elected officials, through our prayers. We know how hard you have to make these decisions, and these decisions affect our future generations. And because of that, you are in my prayers and in many others. So please take in consideration what Councilman O'Farrell is trying to do for us. Mr. Weston, I know you've been a part of us for many, many years, decades. So please, think of who we are.
And thank you for your prayers. Please, if I could have the next. Yes, sir.
Good morning, Mr. Weston. My name is Sonny Skyhawk. I am a proud citizen of the Sichango Lakota Nation of South Dakota. But I come here this morning again to thank Mr. O'Farrell and yourself and the council for considering Indigenous Peoples Day. This is 500 years overdue. And today, as you can see, our young people are here to show you that this is the next generation of our people and that we deserve the recognition that Mr. O'Farrell has proposed to you. I thank you very much from all Indigenous people and from the Sichango Lakota Nation of South Dakota.
Thank you. And I also want to put on deck Carmen, I think it's Carmen Mandrell. Is it Dr. Ann or Ann Simone and Giselle Zuniga? Yes, please come. Come on. Let's walk right up and pull that microphone down and tell me who you are.
Naha Notoka Kimberly, Shla Tibuasque Nikan Tinemi. Voten porque somos semillas y
Relax, dear. It's okay.
Y porque Cristóbal Colón ya no existe y I don't know what to say else.
It's okay.
So hi, my name is Kimberly. Vote for the indigenous people. I just wanna say that to change Columbus Day to Indigenous Day because Christopher Columbus is not here. And thank you.
No, thank you, dear. Thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Yes, ma'am. Identify yourself.
Yes, I'm Carmen Maldonado Mendivil, Atam and Yaqui, and Treasurer of Pukuk Cultural Community Services. I would like to point out that when the English colonizers encountered many of our indigenous ancestors, they complained that they were too free because they would not submit to English laws. Later on, after the Revolution, Benjamin Franklin, considered one of the founding fathers of this nation, looked to the Iroquois Confederacy as a model during the Constitutional Convention. Therefore, this helped lead to the separation of church and powers at the federal level. Please acknowledge this vital contribution to the United States government and its laws by replacing Columbus Day with Indigenous Peoples Day here in the city of Los Angeles. And I also want to honor the peoples of this land, the Tataviam, the Tangva, the Chumash. Thank you.
Thank you. Our next speaker, please. Hi.
Panolte, Naha Notoka Giselle Zuniga. I ask that you change Columbus Day to Indigenous People Day. Glaso Kamate.
Thank you. Next.
Good morning. Yatahe, or Anyang Haseo, or Jambo, or Buenos Dias. We are here a people, and since I am now celebrating the 44th anniversary of my 30th birthday, I need to say that as a grandmother, please help recognize the fact that we have been patient for 524 years. Can you believe it? 524 years. So, with due respect to the Italian community, it's unconscionable that we do not recognize the fact that we have not been discovered. We were here. Hello? It's time to make things right. We have the Spanish that were here, the Mexicans that were here, and then the U.S. that colonized. But actually, it was slavery and genocide. So we need truth. We need healing.
Thank you. So if I could get Adrian Ruiz, Diego Ornales, Nicholas, and then I have a name that I don't even want to try. I don't want to embarrass myself, but it's AXAYACO, I think, TISN. Yes, young man. Speak into the mic.
Panolte, my name is Diego, and I would love if you change Columbus Day into Indigenous People Day. So, Shakwi Lokan, Mati Piakan, Ilwit. So now I'm going to say it in Spanish.
Go right ahead.
Let's vote for Indigenous people, and let's not vote for Columbus Day to have his party. So let's vote for Indigenous people. Now it's time for English, though. Spanish. Okay. So, hay que votar por los indígenas, no para Cristóbal Colón. Hay que tener que.
Thank you. Thank you. And what is your name?
Adrian.
Okay, Adrian, speaking to the mic.
So, por norte, my name, Naha no toca Adrian, and I am Mexicano. I ask that you abolish Christopher Columbus Day and instead celebrate Indigenous People Day, and thank you.
Thank you. Yes, young man, you are?
Nicholas Merrick. Panorte, Naha no toca Nicolás. Shla Quilasque.
Relax, it's okay. You're doing good.
Slaquilaska. Nika Dinema. All I ask is to abolish Christopher Columbus Day and turn it into Indigenous Peoples Day. Que viva los indígenas.
Thank you, Nicholas.
Pa norte, Naha no toca Ashayakatsi Cuautzin. Nos da cuido Motinemikan. Hi, my name is Ashayakatsi Cuautzin. Please vote for Indigenous Peoples Day. Thank you.
Thank you.
Panote, Naha no toca Anjali. I ask that you change Columbus Day to Indigenous Day because we should deserve to have a day. And thank you.
And your name, dear?
Anjali.
Okay. Emiliano Martinez, Jasmine, is that Bustamante? Freddie De La Paz, Brian Burkhart. Yes, sir.
Good morning, good afternoon. Thank you once again for hearing the words of the people. My name's Emiliano Martinez. I'm with Idle No More LA and AIM SoCal. And my question is a question of why hasn't this vote gone today? We were here about, I don't know, back in April or so when Councilman O'Farrell first brought it up. So I don't know how much more time you guys need. Let's vote on it today. Well, I pass a motion as the will of the people today. Please.
It's not agendized for today.
And just, I will make a promise to Councilman Englander. If we vote today, I'll get you a spot on the drum. I know you like to play drums, so I got you, brother. Okay. Please, let's vote on it today. Thank you.
Please identify yourself.
Willie Sandoval.
What was your name?
Willie Sandoval.
You got it. Well, anyway, I'll let you go. We're going to have to wrap it up in a minute. But you have so many, I appreciate so many people coming down, but you have to respect the people of the names that I call. So
I thought you called my name.
You kind of cut the line significantly, but you're there, so go ahead.
Okay. Good morning, LA City Council. My name is Willie Sandoval, and I'm an administrative assistant at the United American Indian Involvement. And my parents came to LA as part of the relocation program. My father was Navajo, and my mom's from the Winnebago tribe of Nebraska and the Menominee tribe of Wisconsin. And I was born and raised in LA, and born in the school system where I was taught about Christopher Columbus and that he discovered America and all the good things he did. But it wasn't until later on in life that I learned to question things. And one of the things I did is question whether Christopher Columbus did these things. And I researched everything myself and learned that he did start genocide on Native Americans. He brought slaves back on his ships, and it's written in his own journals. And that he attacked Native Americans with dogs and cut off their hands because of the fact that he wanted gold. So all these things are what Christopher Columbus did. And these are the things that are taught in books, but they're not taught in school. But we need to change Christopher Columbus Day to Indigenous Day so we don't continue to have this lie about Christopher Columbus being somebody good.
Thank you. And your name?
My name is Jasmine Bustamante.
All right.
And I am currently a junior attending Alliance Collins Family College Ready High School. And I am here today to encourage you in changing Columbus Day into Indigenous Day due to Columbus not being the courageous man people seem he is. In class recently, I have learned that Columbus is not the man that I grew up to him thinking to be. He is a bad man. He enslaved many Native Americans throughout his time, and I believe that is not someone who should be celebrated in Los Angeles. I would encourage you to change Columbus Day to Indigenous Day. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, and you're very articulate. Yes, sir.
Brian Burkhart. Osio, my name is Brian Burkhart. I'm the Director of American Indian Studies at Cal State Northridge. And I, too, like so many people, would like to encourage you to change Christopher Columbus Day to Indigenous Peoples Day. And one of the reasons that it's so important to me as an educator here in California for 10 years and 20 years of total teaching American Indian Studies is that you sort of see, regardless of the details of the history that people have been talking about, you see the impact that this holiday has on Indigenous people in a similar way that mascots and those kinds of imagery really impact the kind of ability to succeed in education. And even for students coming into my classrooms that are non-native, to be able to really hear and listen to what we have to say when this is what they're told in a public way, it really creates a difficulty as an educator. That's what I'd like to share with you.
Thank you. Yes, sir.
Hello, good afternoon. Thank you for seeing us, honorable members of the City Council. My name is Freddie De La Paz. I am a student at California State University Northridge and proud member of American Indian Society there on campus. Brian Burkhart, who just spoke, is one of my mentors, and he has taught me a lot about Native American studies and Native American peoples as a whole. I just want to say briefly that I was born and raised in downtown LA. I'm very proud of this city because we've always been very progressive, and we've always been the catalyst for new things, for progressive things that happen throughout the country. We always seem to be the first to do things. Why not show that we care about Indigenous peoples as a whole by making this statement? We're giving you this opportunity. Take it. Make a difference. Show that you actually care about Indigenous peoples, their ways, their history, and they're still here. Honor them.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay, I'm going to take, the way it's going to work now, I'm going to take 5 more cards. The other cards will be put into the record. So I'm looking for a Monique Castro. Monique, are you here? Come forward. Rudy Ortega. Rudy, are you here? Then will Rudy come forward. Diana Vasquez. Diana, are you here? Celestina Castillo. Celestina Castillo. And then I'll ask Filiberto Gonzalez to replace her. Yes, ma'am.
Hi, good morning. My name is Monique Castro. I'm a citizen of the Navajo Nation, born and raised here in Los Angeles. So I also wanted to share a little bit more about who I am. So in addition to being Navajo and being a very proud Navajo woman, I am also Mexican-American on my father's side, German, and Italian on my mother's side. So I'm third-generation Italian. And I come before you from my heart and full support of Indigenous Peoples Day and the removal of Columbus Day. I luckily was, raised in a family that understood the importance of being an Indigenous person, an Indigenous woman, and I I speak to you also representing the support from my Italian family, saying that Columbus Day does not represent who we are as Italian Americans, and that they are all in support of Indigenous Peoples Day and supporting our people. Columbus does not represent who we are, and actually it really is harmful to our community.
Thank you. And if I could have the next speaker, identify yourself, sir.
Sure. Rudy Ortega, Jr. I'm the tribal president for the Fernandino, Tatavia, and Banda Mission Indians, also the chair of the Indian Commission here in Los Angeles City County. I just want to say, Council President, let us know what day you're going to have this item on the agenda so we can all come back and testify once again and before you all. And also in support that, in favor that we replace or actually just make it the second Monday of October, Indigenous Peoples Day. That's all I would like to say. Also, I have a presentation for our champion here, Mitchell Farrell, a ribbon shirt so he can come out in style for our festivities outside.
And be assured, we will let you know far in advance when these hearings or hearing is going to be. I do, like I said, I want to meet with Ms. Castro and a few others, members on this council, so I can come up with a process, and I'll do that quickly.
Let's do it. Thank
but
you.
You'll be given more
time, right?
than enough time. That you can bet on.
Appreciate it. Thank you, council members and everyone.
Thank you. Yes, ma'am. Please come and identify yourself.
Greetings, everyone. My name is Diana Vasquez. I sit on the executive board of the City of Angels Kateri Circle. And to paraphrase our great Abraham Lincoln, with malice toward none and goodwill toward all, I stand before you in support of establishing the Day of Indigenous People, and in their recognition, we honor our history. In a land that boasts that it's built by immigrants, in a place that is the most diverse in our country, I wonder and I state that it's long overdue to give the Indigenous people a day of recognition. In our prayers, when we begin our American Indian Catholic Mass, we open up with the prayer of the four directions, where we thank those people from the north, from the west, from the south, from the east. Thank you for all of us and all of you.
Thank you. Next speaker, please.
Hello, my
Hi.
name is Celestina Castillo, and I am a resident of Los Angeles. We have 4 generations here in the area of Highland Park, and we are anxiously awaiting for Columbus Day to be abolished and for Indigenous People Day to replace it. Since the 4th grade, my son, who is in the LAUSD, has been able to research Columbus Day, and I'm looking forward to the days where he no longer has to explain why we don't celebrate it. So please, I urge you to make the vote for Indigenous Peoples Day.
Thank you. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Filiberto Gonzalez, Council District 12 resident. I'm disappointed by the decision today, but I want to thank Councilmember O'Farrell for his efforts. Coincidentally, Mr. O'Farrell's native Oklahoma is the state with the largest proportion of native residents that constitute its entire population. But California is the state with the largest number of native people all in all. And right here in metropolitan Los Angeles is the metropolitan area of the entire United States with the largest share, the largest proportion, and the largest population of native people. I think that fact alone, I'd like you all to consider and think of once you, in the weeks or months before you make your decision, alone, I believe should have put you ahead of Phoenix and any other city that would consider this. But nonetheless, I surely hope you take that into consideration when you make your decision. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you. And again, I want to thank all of you for coming down. The remainder of the names will be entered into our record. And I think it was Mr. Martinez. Mr. Martinez, one of the reasons why there was no action today is because this was not on the agenda. So that's why it was never scheduled to be voted on today. But I want to thank each and every one of you for coming out. And these, Mr. Koretz, I see you. And these cards will go into the record. Mr. Koretz?
Yeah, I just wanted to further clarify that once an item isn't agendized, if we were to act on it anyway, we would violate a state law called the Brown Act, and we would actually be liable for prosecution. So it's just not done, but it's not a reflection of what the council feels on this issue. It will just come up at a point when it's properly agendized.
No, be assured. I want a process that's airtight, one that's quick, one that's smooth. I'll get with Mr. O'Farrell, other members from the community, and I'll come up with something that'll be fair to all. Thank you. So we will be calling you, Chrissy. Okay, with that said, what is before this council? That concludes general public comment. What is before this council?
Council has motions for posting and referral.
They are posted. They are referred. Announcements, members, announcements. Could we all rise for adjourning motions? Oh, and Mr. Martinez, if you want to chat with me, I'll meet you on the side if you got 2 seconds. On the side over there. Okay, we're going to all rise for adjourning motions. I'm looking to, in fact, I'm going to look to my left and to Mr. Harris Dawson.
Thank you so much, Mr. President. Members, it is with great sadness that I ask the council and city to adjourn in the memory of a community icon, Mr. E.J. Jackson. Mr. Ellsworth J. Jackson was born on May 23rd in 1950 in Cleveland, Ohio. He is the founder and president of the Jackson Limousine Service, a successful company in South Los Angeles, one of our most successful businesses. The untimely death of Mr. Jackson comes at a particularly critical moment in the community, as Mr. Jackson is, I think, one of the national leaders in turkey giveaways. He started back in 1982. Some community members asked him to donate turkeys on Thanksgiving. He donated 100 turkeys. The next year was 200. The following year was 500. And last year, right there on Slauson and West Boulevard, Mr. Jackson and his team gave away 15,000 turkeys. And that was their tradition every year in our community. He passed away earlier this week of a massive heart attack, another reminder to all of us men to make sure we get our timely checkups and pay attention to our health. But it is a huge loss to our community. All of our elected officials have stepped forward. I would ask that Council President and Mr. Price be included on this one, and also, as you all knew him more personally, would love to hear thoughts from you as well.
Well, of course, let's to the clerk's office, if you could make that 3 signatures and with all names. Yeah, Mr. Jackson, born in Cleveland, Ohio, just like myself, and not that much earlier than I. Yes, everybody knew him as the loving, giving, Thanksgiving guy. Politicians from all over would go to be part of the turkey giveaway. But see, he acted like that the rest of the year.
Yeah.
What a lot of people don't know is that for the last 10 years, going on 11 years, I've taken over 140 kids on a 3-day camping trip. Mr. Jackson has always helped with that, provided transportation, even buses in which I could stay up there with the kids. So he would come out and do it himself. So it's not like he would send staff, because he wanted to make sure that everything worked out perfectly for the children. This is a shock. Again, a shock to our community, and it's going to be so different this Thanksgiving without having him being the face of this turkey giveaway. Mr. Price.
Thank you, Mr. Harris Dawson, for bringing this forward. It is a sad day in our community, especially at this time of year, when neighbors would be lined up around the block, 2-3 blocks sometimes, waiting for, and not just turkeys, but a bag of fixings and all the things that go along with it. And so he's going to truly be missed as a humanitarian, as a community activist, but also as a successful businessman. And you referenced that fact. He started off at a time when he believed that African Americans were not represented in the industry. He grew his business from I think one limo to a dozen to several hundred, all kinds of transportation, and so it was a real positive role model. Demonstrated that it was possible to do well and do good. He did both. He will be sorely missed. And our prayers are with the family.
I like that, Mr. Price, do well and do good. So I'm looking again to my left. Now I'm looking to my right. Mr. Koretz, did you have one?
I think I'm going to wait until next week to the one that I was going to do today.
Okay. Then, members, this meeting is adjourned.